Welcome home to MEDITORIA. I am glad you are back here. Get comfortable. Pull the blanket up if it is cool. You can turn the light off. You can leave a small glow by the bed. Whatever feels peaceful to you. Tonight's conversation will be very gentle, about that wave that sometimes rises in your chest without any warning, about that warm pressure under your ribs when something says you need to act right now, about an ancient fear that you know with your whole body, even if you have never had a name for it. You do not need to do anything. You do not need to understand. You do not need to remember. You can simply listen to this voice and let the day go. Your breath is already here. Your body is already here. That is enough. Let your shoulders drop a little. Let your jaw soften. Let your forehead grow a little smoother. And let us begin. Imagine an ordinary evening. You are home. It is quiet. You pick up your phone. You open your inbox. You read a short message. Just a few lines. And then something shifts inside you. Your heart begins to beat a little faster, just slightly, but you can hear it from the inside. Your palms grow cooler. A warm wave rises in your chest, as if someone poured hot water somewhere beneath your ribs. Your breath becomes shallower. Your shoulders lift 1 centimeter closer to your ears. You did not decide any of this. You did not tell yourself, "Now I will feel worried." You were simply reading words on a screen, and your body had already responded on its own, faster than a single thought, as if there is someone inside you, someone who lives faster than you do. Someone who presses buttons without asking your permission. Someone who knows more about you than you know about yourself. And here is what is remarkable: that someone is not a stranger. They are yours. They have always been yours. You just never noticed them. The way you never notice your own breath until it breaks. Tonight, we are going to talk about them. Very quietly, very carefully, not to overcome them, because you cannot overcome them. And honestly, you do not need to. But first, it helps to know where they came from. This someone inside you is very old, much older than you, much older than your parents, much older than any word you have ever spoken. They were in the body of your great-grandmother, and in the body of her great-grandmother, and in the body of the one whose name no one remembers anymore. They traveled down the line from generation to generation, quietly, invisibly, all this time. They appeared long before people had homes, long before anyone learned to keep a fire at the doorstep, long before the first word was spoken aloud. The world back then was different. Darkness came early. At night, you could hear branches breaking, and no one knew for certain who was walking down the path, friend or stranger. In that world, your ancestors had one main task: not to achieve, not to impress, just to survive until morning, and then the next morning, and so on, every single day. For that task, they were given this: an inner guardian, a quiet watchman at the fire who never sleeps. Their job was simple: sense danger before it senses you. Hear a footstep before you see a shadow. Feel a stranger's gaze on your back. Sound the alarm. Wake the body. Give the body a chance. They saved your life countless times. Not yours personally, of course. The lives of everyone who came before you. Everyone who made it possible for you to be lying here now, in a warm bed, under a soft blanket. And here is what matters. They never left. They are still here, right now, under your skin, in your chest, in your belly, in that spot between your shoulder blades that sometimes turns to stone by evening. They are still standing watch, still listening, still looking. They do not know the world has changed. They do not know that no one is coming down the path anymore. They do not know that you are home, that the door is locked, that the blanket is warm. No one taught them that. They were taught only one thing: if something looks like a threat, sound the alarm. And every time they do, the same thing happens in your body. Ancient, familiar, unchanged. Whether it is you, your great-grandmother, or someone who sat by their fire thousands and thousands of nights ago. Let us take a look at what exactly. When the inner guardian senses danger, They press the pedal, a pedal inside you, inside your nervous system. You may remember from before, we talked about two pedals, the gas and the brake. Right now, we are coming very close to the gas, the one that accelerates, the one that lifts you, lifts your whole body, prepares it for action. The moment that pedal is pressed, everything changes in a fraction of a second. Your heart speeds up. It starts pumping blood faster because blood needs to reach every muscle. Your arms, your legs, the core of your heart itself. You feel it as a dull thud somewhere near your throat, or a gentle flutter beneath your collarbone. Maybe you know this feeling. Maybe there is a small trace of it somewhere in you right now. Quiet, barely there. You do not need to go looking for it. You can simply know that it is possible. Your breath becomes quick, shallow. It rises up into your chest, into the very top of it. Your belly barely takes part. Your body needs a lot of oxygen, and it needs it fast. There is no time for a slow, deep breath. Your pupils widen. Your eyes begin to see things differently, sharper, fewer details at the edges, but greater clarity at the center, as if someone switched on a high beam. The world becomes more intense. Blood moves away from your skin and toward your large muscles. That is why your palms go cold. That is why your face sometimes pales. That is why you can suddenly feel a little smaller than you did a moment ago. Your body is drawing in, gathering itself, getting ready. Your stomach goes still. Digestion stops. There is no time for food right now. No need for it. That is where the familiar feeling comes from. Food that just will not go down. It is not a mood, whim. It is the ancient guardian saying, "Not now. Now is something else." Your muscles fill with tension. Your shoulders lift. Your jaw tightens slightly, just a little more than usual. Your hands, if you let them rest, begin to want to close into fists. Your body becomes a little harder, as if it is putting on invisible armor. All of this happens at once, in one wave, in one brief moment, and you did not decide any of it. You were just reading a message, or you heard a voice in the hallway, or you caught the expression on someone's face, and your body is already preparing for something very old, for something that has two names. The wave that rises in you has two possible outcomes, two doors, two paths that your body chooses between without you in a fraction of a second, using some ancient calculation all its own. The first door is called fight. The second is called flee. Two ways to answer a threat. Two sides of the same wave. These are not two separate systems. It is one organism making a decision in the moment. Which option is more likely to help you survive? If the threat seems manageable, if it can be pushed back, if it can be stopped, the first door opens. Your body goes toward conflict. If the threat is larger than you, faster, something you cannot stop, the second door opens. Your body tries to get away, to run, to hide. And here is something subtle. Your body does not choose with its mind. It does not think. It does not weigh the options. It does this far faster than you can form a single conscious thought. The ancient arithmetic runs on its own. What do I have? What do they have? What is closer? What do I know about this place? And just like that, the door is chosen. The wave finds its direction. This feels like a moment to pause gently. If anything you are hearing right now is landing somewhere in your body, just notice it. And we continue very gently. Because here is something strange. Your body chooses these two doors, even when there is nowhere to fight and nowhere to run, even when no one is around, even when you are sitting alone in a room. And that changes everything. When your body chooses the first door, the one called fight, you do not feel it as readiness for battle. You feel it as irritation, as a flash, as an urge to push back, as a sharp word that comes out before you have a chance to think it through. You are not a bad person. You did not do anything wrong. The ancient wave simply rose and chose the door that seemed closest. The chemistry of your body, as old as life itself, is looking for a way out. Heat rises in your chest. Your collar feels too tight. The room suddenly feels airless. Your jaw clenches quietly barely noticeably, almost on its own. Your fists want to close, your feet want to stomp. Your voice wants to come out louder than necessary. Many people feel ashamed of this wave. Many criticize themselves for it. Many take it as proof that something is wrong with them, that they are bad, unrestrained, coarse. But this is not about character. It is not even really about you, not in the way you think of yourself. This is the ancient guardian trying to protect in the only way they know how. They cannot do it differently. They have two tools and only two, and they chose one. You do not have to believe them. You do not have to obey. But there is nothing here to be ashamed of. They came from a very distant world, where this was the only way to stay alive. And if right now, listening to this, a moment comes to mind, a moment when the wave rose and you behaved in a way that did not feel like you, you can quietly breathe out. You can forgive yourself for that wave. It simply needed somewhere to go. And it did not know where. This wave has a sister. She looks completely different. She is cooler, quieter, harder to see from the outside. But most people know her from the inside. When your body chooses the second door, the one called flee, there is no heat, just the opposite. A coolness moves through you, as if someone ran a damp hand slowly up your spine. Your belly draws in. Something drops away beneath your sternum. Your legs suddenly want to move on their own without being asked, as if they already know where to go, into another room, outside, toward the window, anywhere, just somewhere else. Your thoughts speed up. They begin darting around inside your head like small birds in a narrow cage. Not one of them lands for long. Each one says, "But what if? What if things go wrong? What if I cannot handle it? What if I am too late? What if no one understands?" And a strange wish arises to disappear. Not in any dark sense, simply to be somewhere where no one can see you. This is not character either. This is not cowardice. This is not weakness. It is the same ancient guardian who simply chose a different door. They looked at the situation and decided, Fighting is not right here. Leaving is. And do you know what is most important? Both responses are about love for life. Both of them. The heat in your chest and the cold in your belly. The clenched fists and the legs that want to walk away. All of it is saying the same thing. Your body wants very, very desperately for you to stay alive. It loves you so much that it will reach for either tool, as long as it gives you a chance. You can thank it for that, not out loud if you do not want to, just inside yourself. Thank you, body. I see how much you want me to live. And now, the question that changes everything. If this whole system was built for saber-toothed cats, for darkness, for the crack of branches on a trail at night, why does it activate from an ordinary email? Why does it activate from words on a screen? Why does it activate from a glance, from a tone of voice, from a silence that lasts just a little too long? Because the ancient guardian never learned to read. They never did. No one taught them. There is no such concept as text for them. No such thing as a deadline. No such thing as a boss, a report, a phone call, a message, a notification. They do not know words. They know only one thing. Something has changed, and that something looks like a threat. What do they count as a threat? Anything sudden, anything unexpected, anything unclear. A sharp tone in someone's voice. An unexpected call at an odd hour. A glance that lasted a fraction of a second longer than usual. A silence that stretches a little longer than it should. The posture of someone across from you. A smell in the room that was not there before. A quiet that has grown too quiet. For the guardian at the fire, all of these signals are reason to sound the alarm. They do not ask what the signals mean. They do not sort it out. There is no time to sort it out. Their job is to act first. And they do. Always. They press the pedal. They send the wave. They prepare your body. And only then, a moment later, you begin to realize, wait, but there is no one here. It was just an email, just words on a screen. But the wave has already risen. The difference now is that it has nowhere to go. Long ago, very long ago, after a wave like this, something always happened. The body ran, or fought, or fell and trembled, or cried out, or reached for another warm, living person, pressed close, held on, felt another heartbeat nearby. The wave found its exit. The body did what it had been prepared to do. And gradually it settled. It returned to its ordinary state. But now, look at what happens now. Now you sit, quietly, at the office, in a cafe, in a car, at home. You are polite. You smile. You hold your face together. You speak in an even voice. You reply to the message with normal words. And the wave inside has already risen. Your heart is already beating faster. Your palms are already cold. Your shoulders are already lifted. Blood has already moved to your muscles. Your body is already ready to fight or run. All of it inside, with no exit, no movement, no sound. A wave that never reached the shore. What happens to it next? It does not disappear. It simply cannot disappear. It settles. It leaves a trace. In your shoulders, a barely noticeable tension that by evening becomes an ache. In your jaw, a small lock that makes your teeth a little sore in the mornings. In your belly, a faint trembling somewhere in the deepest part of it that makes it hard to eat well. In that knot between your shoulder blades, the one you know by heart, the one you have been carrying around for a long time. This is how the body begins to hold the wave that had nowhere to go. Each day brings a new wave, and each one leaves a little behind. By evening, there are many of them, and you lie down in bed, and your body is still standing watch. It forgot to turn off the alarm. No one told it the danger had passed. No one showed it that it was safe to let go. That is exactly why it can be so hard to fall asleep at the end of a long day. Not because you are doing something wrong, but because the ancient guardian inside has not yet received the signal that it is okay now. And here, a gentle step seems right. Not toward a technique, not toward instructions, simply toward observation. Because before anything can change, you can first just look carefully, without judgment, without analysis, without asking, "What is wrong with me?" You can ask yourself one very quiet question. Not right now, maybe, but someday during the day. Where does the wave live in me? For everyone, it lives differently. For some, it lives in the chest, rising from the solar plexus up toward the throat and settling there, making the voice a little higher than usual. For others, in the throat, gathering into a knot that cannot be swallowed. For others, in the hands, which suddenly go cool and feel almost unfamiliar. For others, in the belly, in the very deepest part of it, below the navel, where a small cold lake takes up residence. For others, in the back, between the shoulder blades, where the weight sits. This is your personal map, only yours. It was drawn by your experience, yours alone, and no one else's. No one knows it the way your own body knows it. And when you learn to recognize these places, not to fight them, not to push them away, but simply to recognize them the way you recognize a familiar face, something very quiet will happen. The wave will stop feeling like an enemy. It will stop being something to suppress. It will become a signal, a message, a greeting from the ancient guardian who wants to say, "Hey, I am here. I need your attention." And once you know where the wave lives, you can begin a very quiet, very simple conversation with it. This guardian cannot be defeated. That is important to say clearly. They cannot be switched off. They cannot be persuaded to leave forever. They cannot be talked out of existing. They are needed. They will always be needed. They are part of what allowed your line to survive all the way to this evening. But you can talk with them very quietly, very gently, the way you talk with an old friend who has given you a great deal. And the most important thing is, they do not respond to words. They do not know language. Remember? They are older than all words. Words for them are just sounds. Beautiful, but not very important. They respond to something else. They respond to a slow exhale. When you breathe out long and soft, without strain, they hear that as no danger, because someone who can afford a long, slow breath out is not preparing for a fight. They respond to a warm hand. When you place your hand on your chest or your belly, wherever the wave lives, they feel the warmth. Warmth means to them, my own people are nearby. It means it is safe. Warmth does not threaten. Warmth soothes. They respond to a soft gaze, to a face without tension, to a voice that sounds calm, even if it is your own voice in your own head, even if you are saying silently to yourself, everything is all right. I see you. You can rest. They hear the tone of that, not the meaning. You do not need to say a single word. You can simply place your hand where you feel the wave and breathe there beside it, the way you sit beside a child who has had a bad dream. You do not chase the dream away. You do not explain that it was not real. You simply sit nearby, silent, breathing, and gradually the child falls asleep. With the ancient guardian, it is the same. They need presence. They need your hand close by. They need time. They need someone to notice their work and say, I see you. Thank you. I am here. That is often enough. That is already a great deal. And it asks for no strength, no effort, no technique, only attention, only tenderness. And there is one more thing worth knowing about the wave, perhaps the most important thing of all. The wave always ends. No wave lasts forever. Not even the biggest one. Not even the most unexpected one. Not even the one that swept over you completely and seemed as if it would never stop. It ends. Always. Your body knows how to rise, and your body knows how to come back down. These are two halves of one movement. Inhale and exhale, tide and ebb, a wave that comes to the shore and a wave that returns to the sea. If you do not interfere with your body, if you do not fight the wave, if you do not feed it with anxious thoughts like, oh no, here it is again. I cannot handle this. It will never stop. If you simply stay nearby, notice, breathe, keep your hand on your chest, watch the wave rise, watch it hold at its highest point, watch it begin slowly to come down. Watch it find its shore. This is not about willpower. You can set willpower aside. You do not need to bring it with you tonight. This is not about forcing yourself to calm down. No one has ever been able to calm themselves on command. The wave only rises higher when it is ordered to stop. This is about something else, about trust, about a very quiet, very deep trust in your own body, a body that knows how to return, that has done this countless times, that does this every night while you sleep, that knows how without you, and knew how long before you arrived. You can simply step a little to the side and let your body do its work. It knows. It has always known. It has not forgotten. And if right now, listening to all of this, you begin to feel something inside you, softening a little, that is not you doing the relaxing. That is it relaxing on its own, because you finally stopped rushing it. And now, the heart of it, the reason for this whole conversation. Right now, you are lying down. It is quiet around you, dark or nearly dark. Beside you are only familiar things. A blanket you know, a pillow that remembers the shape of your head, walls that have held many of your evenings, the night air of your room, and the ancient guardian inside you. They feel all of this too, not through eyes, through the whole body. They feel that you are not running. They feel that no one has come too close. They feel your breath slowing down, your muscles growing softer, the temperature of your skin evening out. They are beginning to lower their hands very slowly. They need time, too. They kept watch all day. They are tired. They need not be ashamed of that tiredness. They did what they were made for. They protected you faithfully. You can tell them quietly, not in words, just by the simple fact of being here, in this position, in this room, in this stillness. Thank you. I see you. You can rest. Tonight, I will keep watch. And that wave you have been carrying with you all day, all of that accumulated, leftover, settled in tension in your shoulders and your jaw and your belly. it can finally find its shore. It no longer needs to rush anywhere. It does not need to search for an exit. It can simply be, rising, falling, dissolving into your warm and heavy body. There is no tiger here. These are very simple words, but your body hears them when you say them, not with your mind, but with your whole self. There is no tiger here, no one to run from, no one to fight, no trail, no fire to sit beside with your eyes wide open. There is only a warm blanket. There is only steady breath. There is only this room. There is no one to fight, nowhere to run. And this is not emptiness. This is freedom. Freedom from everything that rose in you throughout the day. Freedom to finally let it go. Another time, when you come home to this channel again, we will meet the other side of this ancient system. The side that knows how to rest. The brake pedal. That quiet, slow, deep state that your body can sink into when it knows it is safe. We will talk about what happens in your body when the wave has finally gone all the way out. For now, everything is already well. Everything is already here. You are home. Your breath is steady. Your shoulders are soft. The blanket is warm. The ancient guardian inside you has lowered their hands and closed their eyes. There is no tiger here. There is only you, and this silence, and this night, holding you gently in its hands.